Yeah, yeah. You say you're ready to date. You say you're ready. You feel like it's fate. Join James and Dr. J. Sundays, 10 p.m. Don't be late for dating while anointed. Sundays, 10 p.m. It's great.
All right, welcome back to another amazing episode of Dating While Anointed. Guys, this is one of the journeys that I love, and that's being here with you late nights on a Sunday night, just chopping it up, talking about real things. So I'm Dr. Rasheda, your host of Dating While Anointed, and this is a space for real conversations about dating, especially as kingdom believers, because the truth is, dating while carrying purpose, standards, and faith is not always as simple as people make it seem. So we're going to talk about it here, and we're going to talk about it honestly. On last episode with me, you saw me talking to Dr. Ebony Wallace, and that was part one. We're going to come back and we're going to have finish out this conversation tonight. We're going to be talking about what is the end goal of dating. Although she and I both are divorcees and we're actively dating, we're going to talk about the end goal and why it's such a debate in the kingdom on whether kingdom living citizens should absolutely or not have the opportunity to be married again. So welcome to the stage, Dr. Ebony Wallace. Welcome back.
Hey. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm back. How you doing?
Make me keep you because that was such a good conversation that we had on last episode. I want to keep it going because it was so rich in information. I just believe that we are helping people. We talked about the brokenness and all of the things that I call them stereotypical positions that people put us in inside of, or boxes that they put us in inside of ministry. I don't even use the word broken. I don't listen to the songs. I'm not broken because not even a bone was broke on Jesus' body when he was hung on the cross. So I ain't taking it. I ain't dealing with it. But we're here in this kingdom anointed space, really talking this week about the end goal of dating. And so we just want to get right back into our conversation and bring the people some more value here on this network. So how you doing this evening?
I'm wonderful this evening. Happy to be back with you all and ready to hop into this conversation. So let's get to it.
Awesome. So being divorcees, we talked about last time how we have like a sixth sense now. You know what you're gonna put up with, what you're not, and the society calls it deal breakers. I recently had to drop some deal breakers at the advice of my children. They were like, Mom, that's a little bit too tight. You being a little bit too much. So let me ask you, Dr. Wallace, what red flags do you pay attention to now that you probably would have overlooked in your early 20s before you got married?
Now, I really do think that I'm a better listener. So I'm listening for certain things. I'm listening for how people respond, how they respond to me, how they respond to others. I'm listening and I'm watching. I'm also more in tune with who the person is holistically. What have they already done? Because past behavior is a good indicator of future behaviors. So I'm looking at the patterns of their life, the work that they're doing without me having to tell them. Because, if you've been married for any bit of amount of time, once you remove a force or a control or trying to tell something, people are going to default to their regular settings. So I'm kind of tuning in to a person's default. We're talking about deal breakers and things like that. I'm looking at how well at your big old age do you repair? Because for me, that is a major deal breaker. If there is someone who does not know how to apologize and does not know how to repair, that means that we won't get through any of the ups and downs. And it's going to be ups and downs because you got too many different people. So how do you repair with your kids? How do you repair with your family members? How do you repair with your friends? So how well can they repair when there's been a breach or a disagreement? I'm looking for those things. things, and I'm looking for maturity in that area because, are you going to stonewall? Are you going to go silent? Are you going to disappear? Are you going to berate me? Are you going to talk crazy? Are you going to disappear and then pop back up? Like, how do you manage the uncomfortable spaces? It really does give me a lens into an ability to have a full, mature relationship with someone who's headed in the right direction. Do you go to God? All of these things are very important, and they are something that I would say, if they're not in play, then we may have a bit of a problem because you can't treat everyone like the last person you met, but you still should have a toolkit that allows you to treat everybody with dignity and respect.
That I love that. I love that. And I know every time you say something, I say I agree. And that's because we're aligned. It is right. It's definitely right. We have to be mindful of those types of things. When we look at it, for me, it's like it's listening is good. I'm listening, but I'm also watching.
Yes,
I'm watching behaviors now because I know there are things that in our 20s we didn't even care about. We're like, "Shh, he don't open the door, whatever. I can open the door for myself, because we came from that era of independence, teaching to be independent. But now I'm looking at how do you treat your mother? What conversations do you have with other, how do you speak to other adults? And like you said, how do you treat your children? Can you apologize? Can you say I'm sorry, or do you say I'm sorry too much? Like those things. But I'm watching the actions of people a lot more, and not just in the dating space, but in any type of relationship
everywhere.
that we're building. With business, I'm very careful about who I'm bringing into my space. I'm very mindful of staying out of the way, staying out of the spotlight. When people say, "Oh, you busy? You hearing that?" Yeah, yeah, pretty much. But I'm to myself. I'm by myself. I'm going all these places by myself because I've learned that myself. If I can't stand to be with myself, why would I expect? How would I expect somebody else to be with themselves? I want to bring about the conversation of discernment because I think a lot of people kind of, when it gets to an eros relationship, they turn off some of the tools that God gave them because it's such a desire. I watched the show Love on the Spectrum. Is that it? Love on the Spectrum on Netflix. And it just gave me the insight to the fact that everybody wants to be loved by somebody. So, with that in mind, there is a great desire in people, and it causes people to turn off those little tools like discernment that God gave us. How would you tell somebody, or what advice would you give them when it comes to utilizing discernment to be able to tell the difference between loneliness and genuine readiness for a partnership?
Right. So, discernment is unlike suspicion, comes from God because when you actually have true discernment, it's greater than just the truth from the lie. It's the truth from the almost truth. That's when it really counts. Because when you have developed yourself, the enemy doesn't send you stark opposites that he knows you'll shut down. He sends you very closely matched. I call them high value counterfeits. Okay, so he's not
Mm,
sending you a $13 bill. He's because you're not even going to entertain that. It's not even going to make it past your radar.
mm,
He's going to send you something that's very close. So your discernment has to kick in because it has to tell you the difference between right and almost right, because that is a space where we can go from the perfect will of God to the permissive will of God. And a
right,
lot of people find themselves attached in business, attached in friendships, and attached in marriages to almost right. But that's the thing about being slightly off course. Over time, slightly off course will put you on the other side of the world. So it doesn't have to be a large gaping U-turn. It can be several inches off over time, which causes a great divide and a great wedge. So you'll hear a lot of people when they end relationships, they'll say things like, "We grew apart." When people say, well, how did that happen? Like, how did you grow? Because it doesn't happen all at once. It's a
Right.
slight derailment over time that discernment didn't pick up on because, like you said, you're the deer in the headlights. You got oxytocin running through your body. You got
Woo!
serotonin. You got the feel
Yeah,
good chemicals. You're like, this person is everything. They're saying all the right things.
they
They're wearing
smell right,
cologne
they
that
dress right. Yeah,
right. Like they can wash their face well, their hygiene is on point. So you're coming through all of these things, and what happens is when you settle down, and one of the things I always say is start to write a journal. Start to write a journal. Start to keep note and keep track over time of this person and how you are becoming with this person. Are you
yeah,
getting closer to God? Are you getting further away from God? Are you leaning more into their habits? Are their habits healthy? Right.
right.
So yeah, you like all these things, but what about these things and how are they changing you over time? So my discernment has to kick in. I have to tap in the Holy Spirit. A lot of times I'll ask God to show me. Lord, I don't care how you show me in your word, show me through a dream. Lord, show me what I can't see. Show me the man behind the man. So
Yes,
that is a prayer that is incredibly effective because you can have someone that's polished, you can have someone that's professional, you can have someone who is emotionally intelligent at work, but when they come home to their partner, all of that falls off and you're left with the Hulk.
with the
You
Hulk.
have
That's
to ask
right.
God to
With the
show
Hulk.
you the man behind the man. You can be with someone who's a great communicator in their everyday life. And when they get home, they are yelling, they're crazy, or they're stonewalling you. So ask God to show you the man behind the man or the
Show me the
woman
man behind
behind the woman.
for the woman behind the woman. I think that is, I mean, that is so powerful. Show me the man behind the man or the woman behind the woman. And it's funny because we as leaders, we as believers, ministers, we probably all have a little prayer. I have one, and I don't ask the Lord to show me anything. I ask him to blow them away like the wind, like make the just blow on it. And even if I'm holding on, snatch it, like move it. And I have
I
been
hear
praying that
you.
from a child, from a young person. If this person does not belong in my presence, they do not belong connected to me, blow them away as far as the east is from the west. That's me.
I know, and I get it. I think the reason why I want to know the why or the thing, the man behind, is so that I can identify that pattern in the future. If God
Yeah.
just blows them away, then I don't have a learning script. So every person that you meet, they come with a downloadable script. They're a book that you're reading, and then that book
That's
has to inform as you go further. So if I can see that, oh, I don't do well with guys who yell. That doesn't work well with me. So as soon as I see that, you see what I don't do well with a guy that's not generous or a guy
right.
that's not kind to children because I love children. Right. So
Mhm.
it's one of those things that I got to know the why behind it so I don't repeat it later on down the road.
That's good. You teach me something because I'd be like, Lord, just blow on it,
No, because you got to know why you were
blow
attracted
them
to that
away,
in the first place. And
blow them
sometimes it's
away.
like, Lord, heal me so that I'm no longer attracted to that.
Right. Heal me so I'm no longer attracted. Show me the man behind the man, then blow him away. No,
Yes, then he can get blown away after
then
that. I
he get
love
blown away. So let me just build upon that prayer. So one of the things I want to touch on though in the mode of discernment is how does one know whether they are just lonely or if they're really prepared for partnership?
Okay, so it's a big difference because if you're just lonely, that's going to be solved by you getting involved. That's an easy fix. You don't have to be lonely. There are community groups, there are church groups, there are places where you can volunteer. There are brunches happening every day of the week. You can tap in, go on Eventbrite, and it'll cure all of your loneliness. However, someone who is ready, I always say that there's a difference between good ground and ready ground. So you can have good ground, but if that ground hasn't been tilled, if that soil hasn't been disrupted to accept the seed, it's not ready ground. So I'm looking at someone and I'm like, he's a good guy, but he's not ready yet. Like he's saying all the right things, and I know
Saying
he's
all
not
the right
ready
things,
yet. He's not ready yet. And so
doing all the
um,
right things,
he's doing
and he's
all the
still
right
not
things.
ready.
And he's like, oh, I'm ready. And ready for a relationship doesn't mean ready for marriage, right? Ready for, dating. People date all the time with with intentions to go nowhere. But at this point in my life, I'm not interested in dating if it's not leading towards marriage. So that's a deal breaker for me out the gate. If if I ask you what was your longest relationship, and if you got a string of women, and you toss them out after 6 months because that's kind of what you do, then I'm not for you, because I'm
Right.
built for something else. So, and that's fine to be able to dismiss people early because they're not aligned. That is fine. It's okay. You're not being mean. You're actually doing yourself and that person a great service, so that you're not wasting years of your time with somebody that you could have dismissed in week one.
That is so that is so correct.
Why are you keeping them? Why you have them around? Because you want somebody in your
And
photo.
I'm glad right. And I'm glad you touched on that, because I want to get to the marriage thing, but I want to touch on the fact that why do we keep them? Why do we stay in dating relationships so long? Like, why do we even create a relationship out of it when it shouldn't be that?
Because
One of the
it's
things,
entertainment. It's entertainment. It's
yeah,
fun. It's a way to get back in the club. It's a way when people ask you, because we're still a very much relationship driven society. One of the first
yeah,
things people ask you is, who your man? Who you married
where
to?
your man at?
Right there, where your man at? Right? Or if you ain't got kids, where your kids? You ain't have no kids, you ain't gonna get, like, it's always a pressure to be coupled. And so why does someone do it? Because they're tired of their phone being dry. Why does someone do it? Because they're tired of going out to eat by themselves. So they like the idea of having someone on the other end of that phone call. And I think that this is something that divorcees struggle with. Usually, those first couple of relationships after your divorce are disasters, because you are built.
Hamsters.
And I got to talk about this, because you're built to be a wife already. You're built to be a husband already. And you're dating people who used to be in a bopper, and they're out here bopping, and you're trying to plant down roots. And it's like you're giving away wife assets or husband assets to someone that really wants to take you out for drinks at the Hard Rock, and you're not aligned. And so what happens is you have to be broken out of the mode of being a wife, because if not, you'll make the mistake of trying to be that wife and recreate that relationship with other people who didn't qualify or quantify for it. So you have to go through this healing process where you're not trying to attach yourself with the first girl you met at the club, and you're marrying her, and she's like, but I just went out that weekend. I wasn't going out to find a husband. And you're
I'm
like,
just hanging out.
but I'm ready to, I'm better married. So I'm just going to grab someone, rather than
Mm,
really getting to, why do you want to be coupled? Do you want to be coupled so that you can prove to your ex that you're better now and you can do it right? Because a lot of times people get in relationships for the wrong reasons. There's a rivalry that goes on there. I've coached a lot of women where if the ex-husband is with someone, then immediately they want to, show up on socials with a picture with someone. Your pace and timeline is not dictated by someone you have broken covenant with. Your pace and timeline needs to be identified and dictated by what the word of God says and where you are, not because of what someone else is doing. Don't let anyone else pressure you into getting into a relationship where it took you 6 months to get in it, but it took you 3 years to get out of it, because people are
right.
not healed, they're crazy, and they're violent. So we want to be wise as we're in these dating streets.
Right. And I am the poster child. Like, I'm the poster child for it. And I don't mind saying it. I'm the poster child for that, because I know I'm a wife.
Right.
You just like you're a wife. Well, I had an interesting conversation with a Protestant, and we're gonna put it there, because we understand. When I say with a Protestant, we understand the doctrine that they're taught, the things that they understand from their perspective, or their indoctrinated processes in the word, right? And he said, well, your husband put you away, he divorced you, you can't be married again. So there's a great debate and a great divide in many of our church environments. And we use the word church loosely, but with the understanding that there are thousands of doctrines, there are thousands of things that people utilize to build their said uh, denomination. And he told me that yes, he said, you can't be married again. So what are you going to do? And I heard you just say a few minutes ago that even why are we dating? The end goal is marriage. And if it's not, then we shouldn't be doing it. What do you feel we need to or what is the proper way to communicate and help people to understand the process they should follow in the word and according to the word when it comes to that? Or should we even desire to be married again?
So, your desire, it doesn't go away. It's just like a single person, right? You have desires when you're not yet married or whatever, right? You have
Mhm.
physical desires, you have emotional desires, you have mental desires. So those don't go away. God doesn't do away with your desire. But it is scriptural where it talks about there is scripture to back up both sides of the equation. There's
Mhm.
definitely scripture that says that if you've been put away, then you either reconcile with the person, um, or you um, or you stay unmarried. The only way out is through death. So there is scripture that people, they're like, well, I can't be married unless my spouse dies. But we also understand that there are also biblical reasons for separation, right? So
Mhm.
infidelity, like there are so many cases of abuse that is coming up, that is like widespread with people. And
Mhm.
so these are cases where it's not safe to no longer be in the house with someone.
That's right.
So these are case by case basis. I've had many people that have come to me for coaching or counseling, and I am the coach. Even though I'm divorced, I always stand in the paint for marriage, right? So
Right.
I'm letting you see both sides of the picture. I'm coaching you through on how to stay, because just because I was able to come out of marriage and still build a life, you may not have that level of strength. And what I was able to walk through may totally devastate and destroy you. So I am a proponent of marriage, especially once people are already married, for you to try to work it out,
Yes.
for you to try to get counseling, for you to stay together by all means. But there are instances where the marital bed and the marital house is no longer safe, and your safety becomes an issue. Or you have this case where the person marries someone else, or the person is like, like you have all of these different
Mhm.
instances. And it's one of those things for me where I believe that if God gives you the okay, if God gives you peace in your spirit to marry someone else, and all of these things have taken place, then God will ordain that, because it's a covenant. But we see all throughout the Bible where covenants were had and covenants were broken. There were breaches in these
Yes.
covenants and breaches in these contracts. And so that is my stance on it. Am I married since my divorce? No. Do I entertain the idea of me getting married one day? If it's God's will, if I meet the right person, yes. But if God chooses to tarry and I don't, I won't. But trust me, I will build the kingdom that God has given me in my hand, and advance
Absolutely.
the kingdom. So I'm not a person that idolizes marriage. I'm not a person that idolizes relationship. The only thing that I can take to heaven is other people. And so for me, my experiences, when I share them, if it helps somebody to stay in their marriage, or it helps somebody to apologize or to repair because they
Yes.
see what the other side looks like, and I can offer them that, then then I'm willing to do that. So for me, if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, I am satisfied with the Lord. So
Yes. And
that's
I'm an
what.
after the fact person when it comes to that. People come to me, and because I stand in the paint, like you said, and I'm a proponent of marriage. I ask people, don't reach out to me unless you're already in the process. Like if you're already, you need, for me, because
Right.
there's a coach for every phase of life. And I don't enjoy coaching at all. But what I do enjoy is helping people to repair after they've gone through the process.
Yes.
So I ask them time and time again, and I don't know why some of them get it wrong. If you are not already through the process, like the ink is on the paper and you guys have separated, divorced, don't come to me because I'm not your person. Because I believe in marriage. I also believe in the historical context of the scriptures, of why they were written and why things were said at that time. And being studious is so important for us when it comes to the study of the Bible, understanding the times that they were in, because we're in a very precarious time right now when you look at people that are starting families, that are
Right.
starting relationships, that are starting to build, and they want what their grandparents had, but we are not living in that time. We're
Right.
just not. They want, they want it. And now it's almost at a point where society wants you to believe that you have to have it to survive, because you got to have two incomes, to buy a house and all of these type of things. And there's times where people believe that being divorced disqualifies them for healthy love. What would you tell a woman or a man that feels like being divorced has disqualified them for a healthy relationship?
Well, with a new thing. He is the God of regeneration. He is the God of being born again. Everything about the nature of God, when things had went down, he always had a ram in the bush for the renewal. So because we know this about God's nature, as his daughter, why wouldn't that same thing apply to me or to you as his son? So, when you get a divorce, your life is not over. Being partnered does not take away or add to who you are. So that's why I'm so big on this identity. Once your identity is fixed, then when God is able to bring someone else in the equation, you both are able to chase after God and build for the kingdom in the way that you would need to. So if there's someone out there and you feel like, well, I had a divorce, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's taking me out. I was coaching someone this week who is divorced, and they literally live on the same street as their ex. And so it's getting muddy, it's complicated. And, one of the things we were kind of walking through with them was where they were mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because there was a huge bit of abuse and alcoholism and all types of things going on in that relationship. And she's like, Ebony, I'm at a place where I'm finally able to breathe fresh air. And so usually in those early stages, you just want to get back to you. You're not ready to be with someone else. I would be very weary or wary of someone who just got out of a relationship, they want to get into another one. But after people have had space to heal, to
Mhm.
understand who they are, God has made them new, and they know who they are and where they're going. I believe that God allows for that. Like, I myself am a product of a second marriage. You know what I'm saying? So, like, a whole prophetess, God breathed on the whole thing, right? My whole family is anointed. And it's one of those things where God is the God who can take anything and make it new. He takes bones and makes
Right.
it alive, right? This is what God is all about. But do we still have those lessons? Yes, and those lessons become medicine for other people. It helps them through their journey. That's what our ministry is all about. We go through things and then we help other people along, because the one thing and the only thing that we can take to heaven is other people.
I love that. So tell the audience again, here in part two, tell them how, what your coaching programs are, how they can get involved, when they should come to you, in whatever lifespan or process they're in. Tell them about your expertise, as far as coaching goes, and what is Ebony Solutions.
Okay, so yes, I offer ministry, education, business solutions. So for coaching, whether that's life coaching, things of that nature, you can contact me. You can DM me through my socials at Ebony Solutions, or you can email me at ebonysolutions@outlook.com. And I can set up a discovery call with you to see about if I'm the right fit. Because one thing about me with coaching, it doesn't just, oh, I like you, I want you. No, like, it has to be two-way. So if anybody that I accept as a client, it's because I know that I have a skill set that can help them. I'm very intentional about my time, and because I want to be adding value to the space that I'm in. I want to make sure that your particular niche is a niche that I can fill, and if it's not, I have a great network and I can refer you over to someone. So again, leadership skills, leadership modalities. If you need help in your business, building those type things out. Education. I am a 20-year educator. So things for facilitation and education, I also do that as well. You can find out about me. You can go to my website at www.ebonysolutions.com, and you can give me a what's up and say hello, and we can go from there.
That is awesome. So we look forward to also having you on the prosperity blueprint, because that leadership, the organization skills
Yeah.
that you bring, the strategies that you bring, I believe is going to be valuable for that conversation. So I'm going to come into now the let's be honest part of this segment, and I'm going to give it at this time, and we're going to sign off. It has been great. I want to thank you for your time, but let's be honest, everyone. Let's just be honest. Healing after divorce isn't about moving on from a person. It literally is not. It's sometimes about rebuilding trust in yourself, your discernment, and your ability to love again. Love God and love people. And like Dr. Ebony said, the only thing that you can take to heaven is other people. Focus
Amen.
on what God has called you to do. Be intentional about Him. And as Matthew 6 and 33 says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all other things will be added unto you. So it is our prayer that God add to you healthy relationships, and that you are allowed to date while anointed and find the person that God has made just for you. God bless you, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you, Doc. If you would like to be a guest on the Prosperity Blueprint or Dating While Anointed, click the link. You will go to the link and make an appointment. That is your pre-screening for the podcast. Set an appointment time with me. Come and talk to me behind the scenes so that you can have the interview that is going to speak to who you are as an individual. Join me on the Prosperity Blueprint or Dating While Anointed. We'll see you around on the James H. Glover Studios.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for watching another episode on James H. Glover Network. We appreciate you for all of your love, all of your support, and all of your just comments. Now, what I need y'all to do is, like it says right here, like and subscribe. Also, I need y'all to share, and I need y'all to tag, and I need y'all to turn on that notification bell over here on YouTube. That lets YouTube know that you like content like this. On behalf of everyone here at the network, we appreciate you, because we couldn't release content the way that we do without your support. So as I always say, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments, meaning some things that we look at as bad, God is only turning it around for our good. Stay blessed, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. And I'll see y'all on the next episode.